There is one mistake, one specific behavior that more people make after a breakup than almost anything else. And it doesn't feel like a mistake when you're doing it. It feels like the right thing. It feels like love. It feels like fighting for something that matters. But from the outside, from your ex's perspective, it looks like something else entirely. And every time you do it, you push the outcome you want further away. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is today, and more importantly, why it works against you, even when your intentions are completely genuine. Stay with me. The mistake is chasing. Not just texting too much, not just calling when they don't respond. I mean the full pattern of behavior that communicates one thing to your ex, that you need them more than you need yourself. It shows up in different ways for different people. For some, it's the repeated texts, the good morning messages they don't reply to, the "can we just talk" at midnight. For others, it's subtler, watching every story they post, liking something, then unliking it, showing up somewhere you know they'll be because you just happen to be in the area. For others, it's the long messages, the paragraphs, the voice notes explaining how you feel, how much they meant to you, how things could be different. All of it comes from a real place. All of it comes from love and pain and the very human need to fix something that feels broken. But all of it, every single version of it, accelerates your ex moving on. When you chase someone who has created distance, you confirm the distance was the right call. Think about that for a moment. Your ex created space. Maybe they ended things. Maybe they pulled back. Either way, they moved away. And when you pursue, when you close that space immediately, you remove the one thing that might have made them question whether they moved too far. You remove the consequence. Psychologically, there's something called emotional overjustification. When someone receives more emotional input than they asked for, more explanation, more reassurance, more pursuit, they don't feel more connected to it. They feel more justified in their distance. Every long message you send that goes unanswered doesn't make them feel loved. It makes them feel more certain that stepping back was right. Because here's the truth about attraction, and this is the part that changes everything if you really let it sink in. Attraction cannot survive desperation. It doesn't matter how much history you have. It doesn't matter how genuine your love is. The moment someone perceives you as desperate, as needing them more than you need yourself, attraction drops. Not because they're cruel, because it's hardwired. Humans are drawn to strength and groundedness. We are repelled instinctively by emotional neediness. That's not a judgment. That's just biology. I want to spend a moment here because this is the part most people skip over. Chasing doesn't feel like a mistake because it isn't one emotionally. When you love someone and you feel them pulling away, your attachment system activates. Your nervous system reads it as a threat, and the natural instinctive response to an attachment threat is to pursue, to close the distance, to restore the connection, to fix the thing that feels broken. This is called anxious activation, and it's one of the most painful experiences a human being can have. The racing thoughts, the inability to focus on anything else, the physical ache. When you're in that state, reaching out feels like the only thing that will relieve the pain. And sometimes it does, briefly. A response from your ex, even a cold one, provides a few minutes of relief, which reinforces the behavior, which makes you do it again. This is why chasing is so hard to stop. It's not weakness, it's a neurological loop. Your brain is literally seeking relief from withdrawal symptoms. Understanding this doesn't make it easier overnight, but it does mean you can stop blaming yourself for it. You're not desperate. You're human. You're just using the wrong tool for what you're actually trying to fix. Let me show you what this looks like from the other side. Your ex pulls back. They need space, or they've made a decision. Either way, they've created distance. And then your messages start coming in. At first, they might feel guilty. They might respond briefly just to manage their own discomfort. But as the messages keep coming, as the pursuit continues, something shifts. The guilt becomes irritation. The irritation becomes certainty. Certainty that the distance is necessary. Certainty that the relationship dynamic was exactly what they suspected. One-sided, pressured, exhausting. Even if that wasn't true before, the chasing creates that reality. And here's the cruelest part. Every quality you had that they loved, your strength, your independence, your confidence, gets buried under the pursuit. They stop seeing the person they fell for. They start seeing someone they feel responsible for, someone they need to manage, someone they feel guilty about. And nobody stays with someone out of guilt. Nobody comes back to someone they feel responsible for. The version of you that chases is not the version of you they fell in love with. So, how do you actually stop when every instinct is telling you to reach out? First, understand what you're actually trying to fix. When you reach out compulsively, you're not trying to get your ex back in that moment. You're trying to relieve anxiety. Those are two completely different things that require two completely different responses. Anxiety relief doesn't come from your ex responding. It comes from you learning to sit with uncertainty without acting on it. That's a skill. And like every skill, it gets easier with practice. Second, create friction between the urge and the action. When you feel the urge to text, don't fight it directly. Just delay it. Tell yourself, I'll send that message in an hour, then in an hour, in 2 hours. Most of the time, the urge passes, and each time it passes, you rebuild a little trust in yourself. Third, redirect the energy. The same intensity you're putting into thinking about your ex, that focus, that obsession, that drive, put it somewhere. The gym, a project, a skill, something that builds the version of you that doesn't need their validation to feel whole. Because that version of you, the one who stopped chasing, is the version that makes your ex stop and wonder what changed. You didn't become less, you became more. And they feel that shift even through silence. Here's what nobody tells you about stopping the chase. It's not just a strategy, it's a transformation. The moment you genuinely stop chasing, not as a tactic, not to make them miss you, but because you've decided that your own peace matters more than their response, everything changes. Not just with your ex, with you. You stop performing, you stop monitoring. You stop living inside their timeline, and you start living inside your own. That shift is visible. People around you feel it. Your ex, if they're paying any attention at all, feels it too. Because here's the thing about the chase that nobody wants to admit. As long as you're chasing, you're telling your ex they were right to leave. But the moment you stop, the moment you become someone who is clearly okay without them, you introduce doubt. And doubt is the beginning of everything you're hoping for, whether that's them coming back or you realizing you don't need them to. But only one behavior gets you there. Stop chasing. Start becoming. If you recognized yourself in this video, if you've been chasing and you know it, I don't want you to feel ashamed of that. It means you loved someone. It means you're human. But now you know what it's costing you. And now you have a choice. Subscribe, because tomorrow I'm going to talk about what happens the moment your ex realizes you've actually stopped. Drop a comment below. Have you broken no contact already? And what happened when you did? I read everything.